after talking to family and a lot of friends and just kind of everybody involved, Justin Blackmon's coming back to Oklahoma State. And so am I.
Yep. I'm Barry Tramel, and I say Justin Blackmon and Brandon Weeden are returning to Oklahoma State for college football reasons.
I think they're coming back because they want to be better pros. From the Opepco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson. Barry, I think for Cowboy fans, they don't really care why they're coming back. The news is Justin Blackmon, Brandon Weeden are returning, makes the Cowboys look all the better for 2011, but you think this is a college-motivated decision.
Well, I really do, especially on Blackmon's part. You've written about Blackmon's pro potential and draft status and the pros and cons of coming out now. I just don't know how much higher in the draft he can go. Now, the truth is, A.J. Green, Julio Jones probably going to be picked this year ahead of Justin Blackmon. He might have been the first or second receiver picked next year, but the things that are holding Blackmon back from being the top shelf NFL prospect, flat out speed. I don't think that's going to improve much. But even if it can improve his stock, I think Blackmon and Weeden really enjoy their time at OSU. I think they believe they're on to something special. They talked about coming back together or going out together. I think that's a sign that they really like playing together. They wanted to stick together. They want to keep this college deal going at least a year longer.
Well, I do think that the college has some impact on this, but I think the fact that they decided what they were going to do, in large part based on what the other wanted to do, I think that's a sign of wanting to do this for pro reasons. I think Justin Blackmon and Brandon Weeden see their opportunity to continue to pair up, to have another year much like this year. Obviously, Oklahoma State is without an offensive coordinator right now, but all signs point to somebody who runs an offense very similar to what Oklahoma State ran this past season. So you got to think that what they started a year ago will continue next year. Obviously going to replace Kendall Hunter on that offense, going to be without Bo Bowling, but in large part an offense that comes back intact with the players that they had a year ago. These guys see a chance to put up big numbers again, continue to have more to show scouts, more to show pro teams to say, I can do this. And I think while it's nice to, obviously I think they both have a strong connection to Oklahoma State, I think they see this as a business decision.
Well, very well could be. Now, I think that the pro scouts can look past raw numbers. Without Brandon Weeden, obviously Justin Blackmon would not have the kind of season he had last season. But I think scouts look past that, and they know these guys prospects for what they really are, and not just on some sort of ledger sheet. I think Brandon Weeden's age is a factor. We asked him yesterday about his biological clock. Is it ticking? And the truth is, the difference between a 27-year-old and 28-year-old NFL rookie, not much. So I don't think that was really a factor. What I found interesting is that both guys said that the labor unrest was not a factor. I think it should have been, because the worst thing that could have happened for either of these guys is to come out, put themselves in the draft, and then there's a lockout. There's no off-season training. There's no training camp. Maybe the season gets going in the first week of September, second week of September. Let me tell you who gets left out in the cold then. Rookies, the guys that don't know what's going on, the guys who haven't played. Those guys will be put at the back of the line, be on a roster, but would get very little work, very little playing time. That would have been the disaster for Blackmon and Weeden. So I think that's going to work out well for them. I'm just pleased for Oklahoma State that these two guys are coming back.
Well, and you talk about getting left out in the cold, and Brandon Weeden talked about this yesterday, the fact that, it's a little bit different for him in that if he goes and plays NFL ball next year, he would have been back on that roster. He would have been a second, third team. Who knows where he would have been on the roster. He wouldn't have played right away, and instead he's going to get at least 13. He said even maybe 14 more games under his belt, which he would not get if he goes to the NFL. Now, obviously, Justin Blackmon's in a different position. He would be a play right away sort of guy. But I think that that's really going to benefit these two guys. And the more I listened yesterday, the more I felt like when I went into things, I really thought Justin Blackmon was going to be the linchpin to the decision. I thought that they would probably decide together, we're either going or we're staying, but I thought Blackmon's decision would maybe sway the day. But the more I listened, I think that Brandon Weeden may have swayed Justin Blackmon. And I think, as much as he enjoys college, he's going to go walk on to the golf team. It only gets better for Brandon Weeden. But as much as he enjoys college, I think he made a business decision, and I think that Justin Blackmon followed along. It's good for Oklahoma State regardless, but I think that pro stock is going to go up for both these guys. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.